Good afternoon. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. Today is June the 25th, 2020. And we are actually on take two of the show because we were having some sound issues. Hopefully, it's been resolved. And when our audience arrives, we will be doing a sound check, just to let you know. However, with that said, I want to reintroduce our service hero for today. She is someone that was actually nominated, and she was nominated from a friend of our show, one of our sponsors of the show. That's Andrea Adams Miller. And she is of the Keep Smiling movement and Red Carpet Connection. It sounds as though, or it looks as though, we are all right. Is that what you're here? It's good now. You can hear us, Helene. If you want to just reconfirm another yes,
Yes.
that would be wonderful. And so I'm just, there's always a bit of a delay for us to them. And so, yes, okay, perfect. Wonderful. Well, we've got it going. I love it. And so, Helene, thank you for being the ambassador of the chat today. I appreciate it. And one of the ambassadors of the chat for Chemo Buddies for Life, and one of my buddies. So, Gina is a nominated service hero. And let me tell you, when no one could hear what she was sharing a story that is very inspirational. And when I was reading her biography, I was doing some research. I was very interested for a variety of different reasons. One of which, her story is a lot like a family member of mine, and so it's something that I can really relate to. And we just to bring us up to date where we were at in the previous version of where that no one could really hear except for I was getting to hear, is that Gina was telling us about, she had been in a car accident. The car accident created some issues in her lower back. She ended up having to have surgery. The surgery created an infection. The infection, then multiple surgeries, issues. Then she was given the word that no one wants to hear, and that is that there was only so much time left. A woman that graduated from Harvard in law, wanted to be a teacher.
No, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Sorry, Notre Dame. One of the big schools. Notre Dame. She graduated from Notre Dame and with a law degree, and not to practice law, but to teach law. And it just so happens that we're going to go into, I'm going to let you kind of recap the business piece of it, because your business acumen and your business experience, because of the whole, whenever there's a yin-yang situation going on, you can look at it, you can flip it. You can say, okay, this was really, really tough, and it created this need, but this need then created this opportunity, and you have a huge story when it comes to all of that, because your requirement, because of what was happening with your health, was that your medical bills, or your medicine, the medicine medicine that was required for you to live on a monthly basis was how much money?
Over $40,000 a month for 10 years.
Wow. So, and I mean, you had maxed out, you were sharing different
3 different health insurance policies, and it got to the point where I couldn't get health insurance anymore. So the only thing I could think of that could potentially cover the cost of the medical bills was to go and start a business, which is exactly what I did.
And then I love this story, because when you just do, because in many ways, okay, you feel called, whatever it may be. Again, a service hero trait, yes, is that you see that there's there's an end goal in mind. And then how am I going to achieve that goal? Well, you're an intelligent woman and you looked around and said, okay, how am I going to do this? And you looked at day trading. What year was this?
This was 1997 when I started day trading.
And that was a big thing back then. I mean, that was like a hot industry, hot button, you know. Anyway, oh yeah, I'm a day trader. I mean, isn't that like cool? You know, but and people were doing quite well. However, you had to kind of be in the know to do well. You heard the people that are up here, yet then you hear about the ones, oh yeah, I'm going to be a day trader, and then they're maybe making, you know, they're trading enough that they can have the cup of coffee that they're having during the day that they're trading, right? You know, kind of like that there was a lot of room, let's just say, between, you know, was someone successful in it, you know, and this core group, you started studying them.
I did. And to do that, I wanted to join these chat rooms or membership sites, as the case might be. But I couldn't afford to do it. So I said, okay, I've got this unique system that I've created. Maybe I could go in and teach it in exchange for a free membership. So I went and approached 5 people who had day trading membership sites, hoping that one would say yes, and all 5 said yes. So each day I would go in for an hour to teach, which really fueled my passion for teaching. But more importantly, by going into their rooms, it was helping me succeed as a day trader. And while that worked really well, you have to listen to what people are saying and asking. And I kept getting asked to open my own day trading site. So I did. And within a short time, I had enough from just the membership fees to cover the cost of the medication. But a couple years in, my health declined to the point where I just couldn't keep up with the content demands. Sometimes I'd be coming out of back surgery and 2 hours later having to go get into my membership site.
Right.
So I ended up selling that business to another member who took it over to continue to serve and open the second business, inadvertently becoming a joint venture broker. But JV brokers get paid a percentage of sales, and to continue to pay for the medications meant I'd need $400,000 in sales of my clients' products per month. Well, that's an awful lot of sales. So I spent 2 years studying businesses that were already successful, looking for the pattern among them. And, you know, the pattern turned out to be one that has been something I've applied in my own business, taught other people to do, and as a consultant applied to clients' businesses. It's what I call the Vortex model of doing business. It's a model based on serving while strategically monetizing. The more you serve, the more money you make. The more money you make, the more service you do, and the more good you end up making happen in the world. For me, that's what it's all been about ever since. But fast forward to 2005, which is where we ended the first part, and I learned that I had 12 to 18 months to live. My husband and I decided we wanted to see the country before it was going to be time to die. So he went and got an RV that he could put my oxygen, my IV pulse, my hospital bed into, and we hit the road expecting to have 8 to 10 months. 6 months in, we were in Sedona, Arizona, the week of my 41st birthday. And that week, 3 different blood tests taken at 3 different hospitals all came back saying I was clinically dead. The reason being that I had contracted a second resistant infection that was a fungal infection that had produced so much yeast in my blood, my heart, and my lungs that it made me look like I was already embalmed. Needless to say, I didn't think I was going to have the full 8 to 10 months. My husband wanted me to have the best last birthday any woman had ever had, so he took me to see a massage therapist in Sedona, Arizona. And that woman has forever changed my life. I got on her table and she looked at me and said, you know, you don't have to die as soon as you think. And I'm like, yeah, right. How much is this going to cost? She says, no, it's not like that. And she goes on to give me this huge piece of advice. If I could remove the negativity from my life, I didn't have to die as soon as I thought. I proudly explained that I didn't have a negative attitude. I was one of the most positive people she was ever going to meet. In fact, I'd worked with some of the biggest mindset experts on the planet. They were clients of mine. I'd launched products for them. And she kind of shook her head and said, if all you have is a positive mental attitude, it's not going to be enough to save your life. Well, I left her office feeling like maybe there was something to this advice. So I did what I'd done so many times before. I went out and researched it. And as I applied it, I stopped 42 pills per day, 4 continuous IVs per day. I went from a wheelchair to a walker to a cane to walking with no assistance at all. And in just 4.5 short months, I went from being on death's doorstep to being 100% well. It's what I call my miraculous transformation. And it made me look at everything differently, both life and business. I realized that I'd made a lot of money for a lot of people. I'd paid off $6.1 million of my $9.9 million worth of medical bills. But I also realized I hadn't done much of anything at all to make a difference. And I felt like I'd been given the gift of life. A gift that big just had to be repaid. So it took a good year to figure out what could I do to repay the gift of life. And I woke up one morning with an idea. And the idea was, if I could work with enough entrepreneurs and small business owners to teach them how to make a more meaningful difference in the lives of their people, together we could touch the life of every person on this planet. So that has become my mission, and I have been working on that ever since. In 2006, end of 2006, beginning of 2007, I opened the doors to Directions University and the JV University, where I've taught the Vortex model of doing business to really help people get direction for their life and their business, to show them how to give direction to prospects and customers. And in the end, my goal has always been to help them impact the direction of the world. I've worked with thousands and thousands of people since then. Some have for-profits, some have non-profits, some have both, for-profits and non-profits. This was long before social entrepreneurship was a buzzword. And really, the model is one that's all about social entrepreneurship. Do you have many entrepreneurs in your audience?
Right now, I'm wondering if they even have found us again because of the fact that we did have to close it down. And so, who will be watching this? Yes. We have a variety of different people that watch this show and do and with all the different platforms. Everything from that, as you were talking about, we have quite a few that are involved in the nonprofit. Yes, quite a few. But then there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have, different like solo entrepreneurs. There are some that have corporations, but not as many. I would say that they're primarily the nonprofit and then the entrepreneurial type of an individual that has that goes out, speaks, and those type of individuals. But we have a mix. We really do, and I love.
The reason I asked was that last image you had up of the vortex.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the cover of a book called The Amazing Traffic Vortex.
Right.
And the vortex model applies to every business, any business, doesn't matter what kind of business, for-profit, nonprofit, etc. So if you'd like, I'd be happy to share a link for people so that, they can go download this. They're not even going to opt in. I'm going to give them a direct link to go get it.
Oh, that would be wonderful. In fact, Sherry McQueen, one of our senior ambassadors, just arrived. And if you say it, Sherry, do you mind typing it into the comments? That would be amazing. And
it's not difficult. It's an easy link.
Okay.
So it's www.askggg, that's ASK, and then 3gs.com/A like Apple, T like Tom, V like Victor, book, BOOK. No, wait, ATV. Yeah, ATV book. And that'll just take them straight to the PDF of the Amazing Traffic Vortex.
Oh, wonderful. And it's social content lead sales. And as I was looking at your university and the different websites that you have that are linked to your social media file on Facebook, it took me to a few places, and then I did do some Google searching also, and I will say that I found it very intriguing that and I was reading some articles and some information in regards to really drilling down on the joint venture. I mean, yeah, JV Queen, why was it? I was thinking, okay, JV Queen, that's quite the title. And there has to be something to this because of the whole directions in university and all the different things that I was seeing. A lot of legitimacy in the. Thank you very much. We'll put this up right now. AskGGG.com/ATF book.
No, ATV book, Sherry. ATV like Victor, not F like Frank. ATV like Victor book.
Okay,
sorry.
ATV. No worries. And thank you very much for doing that, Sherry. So, I want to go back. I want to kind of full circle this right now back to when you were diagnosed twice with issues, let's say blood issues that were inside your body that were quote unquote, the super bugs, uncurable, drug resistant, whatever you want to say, the verbiage. After having multiple different surgeries with the Harrington rods, the screws, the electrodes, all that neat stuff that comes along with that territory, that yes, anybody that's been through that route understands that you do end up with quite a few different surgeries, that they were doing their best that they can. Let's see, askggg.com/ATV book.
You got it. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you very much, my dear. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there for a while. So you all right, we just lost her, but she looks like she just is coming right back in. We're good. It's last night in our chat. Oh, we don't have a view though. You're going to need to go back out, Gina, and try again.
You got it. I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, it's live. You never know. And we just go with it. The experience that we're talking about with Gina and her health, where I want to go, and I believe many of you that are here with us right now are going to really be interested in this, and that is with your diagnoses and with all the health issues. You're an intelligent woman. You decide, okay, I'm not going to let it define me. I'm not letting it, I need to do this. I've got these bills. I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to find a way to make this, find a way to win. You just keep going one step in front of the next step. And sometimes you really have no clue exactly. You think you may have a clue of where that's going, but the end in mind is, of course, with you had the medicine that was required at that time to keep you going. And so there you go. How you're going to take care of it to keep you going, you'll figure it out. The question I have right now, and I think is very interesting and will be interesting for a lot of people, is the mindset question. The mindset question that you're in Sedona. Now, again, even the interesting stuff that's happening, you getting in and out, the sound questions, everything was fine. Don't have any clue why we were having sound issues with the first time we went live. These things happen sometimes when you're in an energetic place. We're
Yes.
talking about Sedona. You're talking about a vortex area. You're talking about someone you get up, you're doing a massage. She reads the situation and says, okay, basically you need to do something. And you're thinking, I've been doing it. I've been doing it. You can't find someone that's more positive. Ask ask these people. They know, and this, I believe, is not going to be surprising to many people because they're probably saying, "Oh yeah, I'm positive. Yeah, I've had some issues." And what is it that you found that when you were doing all this research, you're googling, you're doing this, you're self-evaluating, I'm sure. What did you find that she must have read that was a gift in that moment?
So there were two parts to it. The first part was it's not enough to just have a positive mental attitude. You need positivity in all aspects of your life, from the people that you surround yourself with, to your actions, to your words. Everything must be positive. So those naysayers in your life, the people who are glass half full instead of glass half empty kind of people, I literally had to call and say goodbye to them. That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Wow.
Then, because of my day trading background, day trading is driven by news. So I used to have the news on 24/7, even in my sleep. Well, think about the news. Doesn't matter whether it was in 1997 or now. Not
Yeah,
exactly very positive, right?
right.
Probably one of the most negative things anyone could surround themselves with. So I had to turn to a different channel, and I couldn't really find one that I thought was positive enough. So I stopped reading, watching, or listening to the news completely. I started watching my words. Oh, it's so amazing to me today how many negative words come out of people's mouth on a daily basis.
Right.
Even when you're saying a word like but,
Yeah.
but unjust, that's negative. That's not positive.
Yeah.
So it forces you to be cleaner in your language and talk in a more positive way. And as I applied those things, I also read a book called Full Body Presence. It was recommended by one of my doctors that I still work with today. His name is Dr. Joel Yang. He's an integrative practitioner. He's both an MD and an alternative practitioner. Full body presence talks about a technique for connecting to the earth's energy and using it so that you can be more grounded, but you can even use it to heal your body. The brain body connection is so powerful.
Yeah.
You'll find the book at askggg.com/full FULL body BODY. And it actually comes with an MP3 download that is a meditation, or what I would call a guided visualization. Basically, the exercise works like this. You imagine that you're growing roots out of the bottom of your feet that go deep down into the center of the earth where all the hot molten lava is. Initially, the goal is pull that hot molten lava up through your roots, into your feet, up your legs, up your torso. Some will go down your arms and squirt out of your fingertips to go into the ground and recirculate. The rest will go up your neck, into your head, and come out the top like a fountain, again, so it can go down and recirculate. Your goal is to feel the flow of that energy as it's passing through you.
Wow.
Once you can really connect with that flow, imagine that the energy passing through your body is sticky. All the toxins, all the dead cells, all the affected cells, attach to that energy so that when it goes out through your fingertips and out through the top of your head, it's coming out of you. Do
Oh,
that until you feel like you've gotten rid of all the nastiness inside.
wow. Okay.
Then,
I'm going to just stop you there for a moment and then we're going to go to Zen. I want to make sure that we get that book or that on there. That is, Sherry, if you're still here, if you don't mind, it's www.askgg.com/, what was it?
full body.
Full body. Okay.
I
Full.
think I can even type it in.
Yeah, I just can't because I don't have the.
I got it.
Okay. All right. All right. So,
Oh, full body has a space in it. Guys, no space.
okay.
Hang on, let me try one more time.
Okay. So the sticky and everything that takes place, and then you keep it going until you feel the release. Is that like if you're having pain in your body or you're having like a blockage
Yes.
somewhere or something that you keep going until that's gone?
So initially you feel that the stickiness of the energy is taking stuff out. But once you're done with that, the last step is imagine that the polarity reverses. Now your cells become sticky. And all those places that stuff was taken out, you now want your cells to stick to the energy and hold it into those spaces. But pay attention to those places that are affected by pain, illness, etc., so that it's getting the most energy held in. And once you're done with that, replacing and filling in those holes, that energy stays within you the rest of the time. So even when you're done, it can continue working on those areas to heal them. I have used this to get rid of an abscessed tooth, bladder and urinary tract infections, since the time of my miraculous transformation back in 96. I ended up having my husband leave in 2015, and I haven't talked about this publicly since then. When he left, I was still very much a disabled woman. I had no idea we were ever going to break up. We had been together, married for 26 years at the time.
Wow.
So when he left, he was both my husband and my caregiver. And the stress of trying to figure out how to be okay on my own, I hadn't driven in 20 years. I hadn't given myself a shower by myself in over 20 years. The stress caused me to get really, really sick. A year almost to the day after he left, I got so sick that I got E. coli, sepsis, and total renal failure.
Oh,
Thank God my mother calls me every morning because I was so sick I could not dial my phone to call 911. My mom from Chicago had to get an ambulance to me. And by the time they got here, I was almost dead. I ended up in intensive care for over 8 days before I ended up going into grand mal seizure and coding 4 times. Altogether, I was in for 2.5 weeks. After that, I ended up with something called C. difficile, C. diff for short. Again, right, and sepsis, right back to the hospital, right back to ICU. And the following year, ischemic colitis, sepsis, and total renal failure. Again, this sent me right back to the hospital, right back to intensive care. And then once again, C. diff. All 4 times, I coded a total of 5 times. So it's almost like I've not had one miraculous transformation. I've had lots and lots of miracles.
yes.
And this whole technique of connecting and using the earth's energy to heal my body is a huge part of why I am still alive today.
Right.
Over and over and over again. It has been the thing that has allowed me to be healed and be well.
This
It's
is
totally ridiculous.
absolutely exciting to hear because you know what? We need to hear these stories right now. You are definitely, yes. Thank you, Helene, for saying hello to Andrea Adams Miller. Yes, Andrea, you are right. Gina is a service hero, and sharing her story in itself, it is, you know, it's bigger than any of us, really, because the the possibilities here is that you are a living witness that if you really believe that you can be healed and you put these things into practice, we can be so much better off. Let's just say, even if not healed, we can be feeling better. Yes, is the she's I needed to be here today. Yes, Helene, you do. We have a lot of buddies, is what we call them, that need to hear your story, and a story of that anything is possible, and that it doesn't matter. And this is the thing that I love about your story too right now. And we'll go into the business pieces of things because they all go hand in glove. However, right now, what I'm hearing is that you think outside the box. That goes on all categories, health, business, internet, life, all areas, energy, this, that, and all. And with thinking outside the box, you found, and I love this too because they're out there, you found a traditional doctor that is open to adjunctive or alternative healing ideas,
Yeah.
and they bring them together. And I've had this discussion recently, for an adjunctive medical approach to take both sides, bridge them in finding a way to work within our bodies, within the standard of care, and so that they are fully functioning within their license and the requirement under the medical board. Yet, we as the patients get to be very involved in our own miracle, and our hearts and our minds, and just really totally believing that it can happen. And when with what you were saying about the massage, the miracle massage in Sedona, and the words that and the what you found from it, that you had to make some tough choices. It's not easy to sometimes let go with love, of certain things that are not serving us right now when it comes to our health, and we have to make that decision if we want to live or not. You made the decision, and now they go to a certain place. Then all of a sudden you have this. We're frozen. She's going to be right back. So she has this experience with. Let's go. Not that one. Let's get with her. Where'd she go? She'll be right back. That Gina had a surprise and a life change, and her body ended up, and many of us can relate that when shock and emotion and things happen, our bodies can react, because this is what science is starting to really prove. And I love this. They're finding that the heart and the mind really has something to do with the overall general health of our bodies. And if our situations that go south, if you will, and they're traumatic and they're hard, and many people accept, oh yeah, you had a really hard time, that happened, and you went through, a loss or divorce or whatever it may be, a loss of a job, COVID, all the things that are happening right now on June the 25th, 2020. And people are like, stress. And they accept that body might have a reaction to it, a rash, a this, a headache, a that, a maybe even bigger. However, this is the thing that I love about what you're sharing, is that it can work for the positive. Our when we, why is it that they accept the negative and they think it's hocus pocus or woo woo when we're looking at the positive, but it is real. And science is now starting to put it in journals. You can read it in regard. I mean, I know some even right now off the top of my head. There are journals out there that are proving, medical journals that are proving that our hearts and our minds have something to do with general health. And with you, dear Dr. Gina, and I had to say, guys, I actually asked her when she first came in because I noticed the name change, and I'm like, did I get your name wrong? I'm really, really sorry about that because I had put Gina Gaudio-Graves, Graves,
Great.
and I'm thinking, because I thought I had seen Grace somewhere, and you explained that you were being proactive and you were changing even your name, right?
Well, when the divorce was happening, I could not fathom continuing to be Gaudio-Graves for the rest of my life as the divorced woman. But if you've noticed, all the links I've given out are askggg.com. And I'm like, but if I go back to just being Gina Gaudio, there's only 2 G's, not 3. And everybody knows Ask GGG. And it was awful. I was in such agony over what to do. And one of my great friends, Chris Lockwood, hello, Chris, I'm sure he'll watch this at some point. He's a copywriter. And Chris looks at me and he says, well, that's easy, Gina. You just need to ask the judge to change your name from Graves to Grace so you can tell the story of how you went from the grave to grace.
I love it.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, Chris, is that brilliant or what?
Yeah.
And although I've been divorced for over a year now, I have not gone out and changed my name on social yet. But just recently, literally just a few weeks ago, thanks to Jim Umps and Pauline Umps, I finally got my PhD.
Yay!
So,
congratulations.
I am Dr. Gina Gaudio-Grace legally, and I want to scream it from the rooftops. I'm so excited about it. So it's time. Now that I am Dr. Gina, it's time to go tell the world who I really am and really step into who I've become.
And so let's go there right now. So we've made the case for the fact that you are a walking, talking miracle. Okay, we're good with that. We know that we can be too. Okay, and you're being very generous and giving us the links to be able to go get some downloads and learn for ourselves some business practices, and then also for the meditation. And I'm going to try that. That sounds like absolutely, like I cannot wait to be doing that. So
and hold on just 1 second. I put a third link in the chat, and I want to make sure that everyone knows what that link is.
Okay.
One of my dearest friends, I call her my sister, is Terry Talltree. Terry and her husband, Chief Robert, are Native Americans. Terry, years ago, contracted Guillain-Barré, which is an autoimmune disorder. It caused her to become a quadriplegic. Terry decided she was not okay with living her life as a quadriplegic and decided that she was not willing to leave the hospital as a quadriplegic. And her doctor said, well, I don't think it's up to you. And Terry said, oh, yes, it is. So Terry used an almost identical mindset visualization exercise and 22 days later walked out of the hospital, fully functioning. You would never guess that at one time Terry was a quadriplegic. Terry and I got together when we learned that her brother Roy had contracted colorectal cancer, and we did a call with Roy to explain what each of us had done to experience miraculous transformations in our lives. That's the third link. It's askggg.com/healing mindset. askggg.com /healing mindset. And so there are two of us who are living, breathing, walking miracles, who experience miracles in their lives
Oh
all the
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. Let me just a third one, just real quick. Some people know the story. I'm not going to go into it much. My mom, she was dying, quote unquote, they said, of a kidney disease. She's in a car accident. 7 vertebrae are shattered, and then she ends up living through the night. They didn't think she would. She ends up living through the night. That actually somehow, with also, we believe, other, prayer, intention, all,
I
whatever you want
believe
to say,
that helped me as well.
but this was long ago, and she lived 34 more years. 34 more years. Now there was some
Wow.
pain. There's no joke. There was some pain. Yet she affects so many lives, and so there are so many miracles out there for those that really believe that there are miracles. So okay, you were talking about the ohms, which I love them both. Oh my gosh, can we just say love you guys? Um, and they have the university that that his father started, and he now
That I
oversees.
am a
And
graduate of.
that you are now, yay, a graduate and PhD, Dr. Gina, that you have graduated from. Now you have the directions, and I have here askggg.com, and the directions university. You are doing so much in regards to it, and it seems as though you talk about content, a content person. You've got content and content and content and more content. And is that back from the days of the, good old habits from back in the day trading days, and then having your membership site and then all the different things, and now you have this. I went and I'm thinking, that looks really interesting. Oh my goodness. I could use that. I mean, yeah, you're talking about content of, and forgive me guys, but it's hard for me to see this sometimes because it's little, but here we go. Okay. So content, and then repurposing content. I mean, because content takes a while to create, yet
Yep.
when you have it, it can become evergreen, it can become reusable, it can be chopped up, it can look a little fresh and new. And you, as the JV queen, I was reading the in your bio and some of the articles that I found, that you help people to understand you need to do it now. However, you need to look at for the long term also.
Yes, absolutely. So on DU, there are over 4,000 hours of original content, not repurposed, 4,000 original hours. I don't even know how many hours there are if you take into account all the repurposing, but there's a lot of content. Unfortunately, when my husband left me a number of years ago, he owned the business, even though I was the face of the business. So DU has been sitting dormant for 4.5 years. I leave it up because so often people come to me and they really want and need some of the programs that I have on it. So I'm going to tell you and your listeners, if there are any courses that any of you would like on DU, hit me up on Facebook on Messenger and I will gift them to you. Please do not go buy them.
You are, okay, I'm taking you up on it, because I will tell you this right now. It's pretty amazing how this all works. Seriously, it is amazing, and I have to just thank Andrea Adams Miller. If you're here right now, she never ceases to amaze me, how the right person comes on at the right time, and we, it's like I could almost get weepy right this minute with you right now, Dr. Gina, seriously, as a service hero, because there are those people that are out there, with causes, with nonprofits with that are involved in the social media. And yesterday, I I had one of those situations where someone tried to impersonate me on one of the
I
platforms,
saw. Oh my gosh, Tamara.
and
Oh my
I fought
gosh.
back. I fought back, and in doing so, I realized, okay, I need to make sure that I am being smart and not vulnerable, that I am doing this in the right way, that we are protecting our, the nonprofit, our buddies, the service heroes. I mean, I'm all about service. That's my deal. And I'm thinking, okay, why would someone want to come and attack me? And they're actually out there with others. And right now, I'm actually, I spoke with someone today, and there's going to be an article about this, because we need to make people aware of the fact that we can take control. We can do this together. And I want to thank everybody publicly that helped, because there were a lot of people that said, no, we're not taking this. We're standing our ground, and we're not going to let this happen. And good people are out there, and with what you've got, the information you've got, JV partnerships, the social media, the content, all of that, it's incredible when you are putting that time into it, to not let it suck your time, and then not take care of maybe some of the things that we need to be doing for privacy and just protection, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
yet be public. And so I just want to say thank you for this, because it's something that is front and center in my mind right this minute. And you as an attorney, and then going into the internet, into social media, into all of it, it, I'm sure, better than many.
I probably do.
Yeah, and so I just want to publicly thank you for
Thank
that.
you. You are
Because
so welcome.
so
And
now,
it,
what is
although we don't do any live calls at DU any longer, just because I'm not actively promoting it right now, I'm still around. So if it would serve you and your audience to get together and do a group call, one or two of them, I'd be happy to do that.
We'll take you up on it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, because what we do through the nonprofit is that it's all through the nonprofit, so that it is giving to others. And so thank you. Absolutely.
You're
Thank you.
so welcome.
Well, service hero. Ha! This is what a service hero is, guys, is what you are. Gina, what is next for you? How can we serve you? What is it that's your next step now that you're Dr. Gina Gaudio-Grace?
So I am currently the operations director and senior trust advisor at platinumfinancing.group.com and platinumtrustgroup.com. Platinum Financing Group helps people get tons and tons of financing. Everything from our installment loan platform to lines of credit, credit cards, you name it. We can help people even if their credit scores aren't stellar. So go check out platinumfinancing.group.com. And then
Okay,
Platinum
say that
Trust Group.
slower again. Say that slower, and Sherry, if you don't mind, we'll have that put in there too. What is it?
platinumfinancing.group.com.
Financing. Okay.
Financing.group.com. And then the other division is platinumtrustgroup.com. We have a proprietary, copyrighted asset protection and tax mitigation trust. For anyone who has a tax liability of $10,000 or more per year, or that has, I'd say, at least $50,000 worth of assets and wants to protect them, our trust is amazing. But for your audience, if they are on Social Security disability and they want to be able to do a little bit of work here and there, I can definitely help them out with our trust. So platinumtrustgroup.com/Gina will take you right to a place where my calendar is located. You can get on my calendar, schedule a call, and we can talk more about it. My
So
email
what,
address and phone number are there as well.
sorry to step on your words. So what I'm hearing, because of for those that do not know, yes, we have many people that are going through some kind of treatment, and so they may be on some kind of aid right now. And if they're able to work, sometimes they lose their benefits if they make more than a certain amount of money per month. And it's a very difficult road to be on, because you are
It is.
oftentimes, what do you keep a roof over your head, do you eat, or do you pay for your medicine? How do you do this? And even if you're supplementing it, and you supplement within what you're being told you can without losing your benefits, it's still not enough.
It's still hard.
It's difficult. So what you're saying is there's something else out there that will help mitigate, or help to legally take care of things. So this is really big. This is huge. Okay, let me. I've got here. Okay, platinumtrustgroup.com.
Yep. And then just add /Gina to get over to my calendar as opposed to one of the other people's calendars.
Okay, so on the Platinum group. All right.
And it's Platinum Financing Group. Let me see if I can drop a link in here for you.
Financing group. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sherry, for doing this. I know it's not easy when you're trying to listen and type at the same time and hear, because sometimes you never know how clear it's coming through, and we understand that too. And I want to just say thank you, Sherry. So, Gina, I just want to adopt you. Can I adopt you? Can I just adopt you?
Absolutely.
I publicly announced I am adopting Gina. I just absolutely adore you. You are like, you're a treasure. You're a treasure. And your heart and your soul and your spunk and you got the brain, you got the heart, you got the whole thing going on, and you don't give up. And I love that about you. I do. And
thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. I'm serious. And so, yeah, in fact, I'm going to invite you in. We have closed chats in our group. I'm going to invite you in there. And
I love that.
Yeah, you're officially already adopted into our family, into our group, into our community.
I will be there.
Okay, awesome. Guys, you heard it. They're like, I'm sure they're like, yes. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to give you an opportunity to shine. I'm going to take myself down from the line for a few moments and let you leave us with a nugget, an inspirational thought. Oh, the little baby.
Popeye.
Oh, Popeye, you're adorable. You are adorable. I love dogs. I love them. I love animals. And then I'll come back up, and then we'll close out the show, okay?
Sure. So my favorite quote is, winners take imperfect action while losers are still perfecting the plan. Each and every one of you that are part of this community are winners already. But what really got me to where I am today is recognizing that failure just wasn't an option. Failure meant dying. And I was too young to just leave this planet. So truly, guys, take just one nugget that you heard today, apply it, and become an even bigger winner in your life. And if I can do anything to help any of you in that process, just let me know.
Oh my goodness, that could, and yes, you are definitely adopted. It's like anybody that's here right now, especially that was over the last 24 hours with me, many of them have been, and they know that the imperfect action piece of it is like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we see that all the time, because of the fact that you can be and I'm not saying anything bad about those that can really pull off perfect, because when you can pull it off and you've got the teams and you can make it happen, awesome. However, the imperfectness of the action of saying, we're feeling called, there is a need, let's do it now. However that looks, let's just do it. I love your hair too, by the way. Love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it.
Somebody just called me and it took the sound off of my speaker and I can't seem to get it back on speaker, so I can barely hear you at the moment.
Okay, well, we're closing up as we go right now, and so I just want to say, Gina, as we close today, you are amazing. Your story, your inspiration of not giving, just finding that will, that drive to keep going in so many different times in your life. It is a constant. You are an example, a service hero. You have served us in so many ways today, and you were being honored for doing exactly what you did today for all of us, and you continue to do it. It is you. I am feeling honored to know you and to be able to share and highlight your story because of this. Your story is going to absolutely, I have no question in my mind, is going to motivate others to find their miracle, to find their miracle health story, to find their miracle business story, to find their miracle inspirational story that will then continue to be that domino effect. We need those first dominoes. And you are a first domino, dear Gina. Dr. Gina, you are, and I just absolutely love you. I just do. You are
Thank you so much for
amazing.
having me here. Thank you all for listening. I am so honored to have been a part of this, and I promise you will see me in the group.
Awesome. You're going to get an invitation today. All right, everyone that joined us today. In fact, tonight, every night, we have a chat, we call it, at 5 o'clock Pacific in the evening, 8 o'clock Eastern. And what we do is there are leaders of the chat where they're on camera, but then in the comments, they all chat with each other and they chat with the leaders, the host of the chat.
Nice.
Yeah, and so then we have a subject matter. Tonight is Thankful Thursday. And however, if someone comes to the chat and they need to talk about what's happening in their world, and again, our nonprofit supports those people affected by cancer and others that are feeling isolated, and then we're helping to ease the suffering of that isolation. So we've opened our doors to those that are affected by the pandemic and COVID right now. We've invited them in, and we are serving this community with humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a lot of love. And you, my dear, fit right in to this community. So welcome. And anybody that wants to join us, you just go to the Chemo Buddies, the number 4 Life page here on Facebook, go to groups, go to the Chemo Buddies for Life community, ask to join. The main thing is 2, it's a safe place, and number 2, what we talk about there stays there. It stays in the closed private area, and so that it is a safe place to be able to open up and share. All right, thank you so very much.
Thank you again.
Our service hero.
Bye everyone, have a great rest of your day.
Okay, bye-bye.